Hi Capricorn, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. So glad you found me. This is your February 2017 astrology video, where I also intend on pulling you 4 tarot cards and a oracle card from 2 separate decks. So, why don't you sit a spell so we can talk about your stars? On February 3rd or 4th, depending on where you live on the planet, we're going to have Venus, the planet that represents love, harmony, and beauty, also money and resources, is moving into Aries, meeting up with Mars and Uranus. This is your 4th house. The 4th house is ruled by Cancer, and this is your home and family, or your roots and your foundations. Home is where you live or where you consider home to be. Family is who you share that home with. That can be your parents, your spouse, your partner, your children, fur babies, house guests, housemates, or roommates. This could also speak to your internal structure, like your bones, or your internal roots, like your philosophies, or it could deal with your external roots and foundations, literally around your house. So, Venus moving into the 4th definitely seems like there will be some charming, more pleasing energy moving into your home and family life area of life at the beginning of February, which is nice because that's going to make Valentine's Day even the more sweeter for you. So you may actually want to be putting some focus into making your house look prettier, or you may be feeling the need to redecorate or even spring clean. So use that Mars energy while you've got it, I say. Now, on the 7th or 8th, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got Mercury moving into Aquarius, meeting up with the Sun. This is your 2nd house. Mercury is the planet of thought, movement, and communication. Moving into the 2nd house where the Sun is means that there will be either some communication or some thought, or even the idea of restructuring the things in your 2nd house. The 2nd house is ruled by Taurus. This is the house of your money, your values, your earning ability, and your self-esteem. It's the house of mine. Anything you could point to, classify, identify as, or introduce as mine, including your spouse or significant other, would classify as a 2nd house item in my book. So, going to be some communication in that house of values and the things that you want close to you, the things that you want to know where they're at and what they're doing for you. It's very much a house of wanting security and stability as well. On the 10th or 11th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we will be experiencing a lunar eclipse at 22 degrees of Leo. This lunar eclipse is occurring in your 8th house, and that's the house of Scorpio. That's the house of life, death, and rebirth. It's the house of your instincts, primal, basic, or human. It's also the house of sexuality, regeneration, transformation, and metamorphosis, and other people's money. Other people's money is money coming to you through someone else's hard work, like your spouse's income, or this could be inheritance, this could be scholarship, grant, loan, possible lottery winnings, just really depends. The Sabian symbol that is associated with this lunar eclipse reads, "In a circus, the bareback rider displays her dangerous skill." And when I was meditating on this, I really thought about the pictorial representation of what is being talked about in the Sabian symbol. I thought about a bareback rider in a circus, and the poise, the skill, the grace, the determination, the athleticism, the practice, and the perseverance that it must have taken to become one with this animal, to be able to stay on top of it and maintain your position while moving with this animal in tandem. So, I think there's some really beautiful synchronicity between these Sabian symbols attached to the eclipses. I feel like they are hinting at the vibratory reflections of the Saturn square Neptune in 2016. I'll get a little bit more into that in a minute. On the 18th or 19th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we are going to be having the Sun move into Pisces, meeting up with Neptune. This is your 3rd house. Now, with Neptune being in the 3rd house, Neptune's been there for a while, so you're dealing with and have been dealing with lessons surrounding boundaries and communication. You've been dealing with situations of, you've probably been dealing with your vehicles. You've probably been dealing with your phones, having issues with them not working right or giving you problems, or possibly even dropping them in water or flooding them out or something to that effect. Just because of Neptune being in that third house. It could be that your emotions are also very emotional, or your communications are very emotional or very emotion based. Um, it could be a very emotional time for you dealing with people in your neighborhood and dealing with people on the level of siblings, cousins, and neighbors. The sun moving in here just is bringing emphasis to that third house. The third house is all of those things that I just listed: short distance trips, siblings, cousins, and neighbors, communication devices, and also the way that you think, the way that you consume and digest information, but also the way that people understand and consume the way you speak and what you put out in the world as well. So just beware and be understanding that those boundaries may be a little nebulous, if you will. Now, on the 25th or 26th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got the solar eclipse that's occurring at 8 degrees of Pisces, and this is heavily Neptunian influenced. Neptune is the planet that represents nebulousness, illusion, and imagination. It also speaks to addiction. This is occurring once again in the third house. The third house is that Gemini ruled house of communication, short distance trips, siblings, cousins, neighbors, and the neighborhood. Communication being your commute, the path that you take, and the means that you get there. So the road and the vehicle. It deals with your communication devices, and that's anything from your tablet, phone, or computer to your gaming devices, anything that gets your messaging out into the world. Solar eclipses usually bring forth new beginnings or new energy and opportunity for new growth. So it may be that you are dealing with the need for a new vehicle, or there may be possibly the birth of a sibling, or hearing about the pregnancy of a sibling, because a little bit later I'm going to talk about Mercury. It's happening on the same day as the solar eclipse, but Mercury is moving into this third house as well, where you may be getting news of some stuff going on in that third house, dealing with your siblings, your cousins, and your neighbors. Maybe getting information about your vehicle as well. Or just anything dealing with communication, honestly. But that solar eclipse's Sabian symbol reads, "A jockey spurs his horse intent on outdistancing his rivals." And the same sort of ideas came up with the symbology of this Sabian symbol with the previous one that I spoke about. The athleticism and the skill and the practice that it must have taken, the perseverance, the determination of a human being literally becoming one with an animal so that they can display either dangerous skill or outdistancing rivals. I feel like for the solar eclipse, it is literally highlighting the determination that it's going to need, that you're going to need to deal with this solar eclipse. It's occurring in your third house, that new beginning in that area. Lunar eclipses, I really didn't speak of it very much, so let me backtrack just a minute. The lunar eclipse that's occurring on the 10th or 11th, depending on where you live on the planet. Lunar eclipses are associated with feminine energy, so it could be dealing with females. If it's not that, it could also just be dealing with closures and endings and resolutions, changes and shifts in energy that brings about a change. You may be a part of that change on the willing end, or you may be unwilling, just depending on how consciously you live. If you understand the many cycles that happen on a daily basis and how they reverberate into the larger cycles of your life and the bigger stories that they tell, chances are the eclipses don't catch you as off guard as, say, someone who just lives day to day would be. And there's no judgment. But yeah, it looks like there's going to be a lot of energy playing out through that third house. You're going to be getting a lot of information coming through. I definitely, I know firsthand, my best friend, you've heard me speak about her before, is a Capricorn rising, and I already know how this is going to be playing out for her. Information-wise, will be coming dealing with the loss of her mother. They're in litigation, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's how I see it playing out for her. And that's just one example because it's 8th house, inheritance, that sort of thing. Dealing with life, death, and rebirth, that transformation, that transformative energy. And going through that sort of litigation process requires a lot of communication. And there is now starting to be an upswing in communication with her legal team again. So I see that playing out for my dear friend in that manner. It won't play out exactly that way for you. Just an example of how all of this stuff kind of rolls together to tell a bigger story. So yeah, lots of 3rd house energy. Neptune is heavily influencing a lot of this 3rd house energy. So pay attention while you're driving, please, because it seems like people really aren't going to be paying attention to the boundaries of the road, especially if you aren't dealing with anything else. I just feel like paying attention to the road and not texting and driving and not drinking and driving and doing everything that you can to maintain your focus on the road would be very good for you, especially in these next 6 months because of the solar eclipse that's occurring in your world, in this communication house where you're going to be doing a lot of short distance journeys. I would like to see you be able to maintain your boundaries because it looks like other people may not. So forewarned is forearmed, Capricorn. What I'm going to do now is shift over to the cards. Before I start shuffling on screen, though, I'm going to show you this Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. I'm going to pull a card from this deck for you, and I'm also going to pull a card from this Sacred Rebels Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, and the artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. It's a real fan favorite of many who have watched this channel for quite some time. So, Capricorn, what I'm going to do now is get my little shuffle on and pull some cards for you. While I shuffle, I'm going to take this opportunity to remind you that this is a general reading, Capricorn. So if the messages that are in these readings don't resonate, that's perfectly fine. The chances are that if you don't know what your moon and rising sign, you're watching for your sun sign. And you're more than just a Capricorn if that's the case. You've got a moon sign, you've got a rising sign, you've got many other placements. And the only way that you'll get to find out about those placements is if you Google the words free natal chart and you type in your birth information. They're going to want to know your birth date, your birthplace, and the exact time of birth. And all of that is very important. If you don't have the exact time of birth, then a chart can be generated that will show your sun and your moon placement. And the rising sign can be guessed more often than not if you understand the traits of each of the zodiac signs. But that's neither here nor there right now. If you don't understand where your moon or your rising sign placements are, you can send me a screenshot of your chart to sweettastro@gmail.com, and I will show you or tell you. I'll shoot you back an email as quickly as I can, letting you know where your moon and rising sign placements are, because I feel like those are things that everyone should know about themselves so that they can empower themselves by watching my videos for those signs, but also other readers as well. I've had a lot of people ask me why I don't charge for that information, but I just feel like that's something that people should know about themselves. I've used astrology not only as predictive, but also as like a psychoanalytical tool to help me get over a lot of stuff that has been very secret and very quiet and was demanded that I kept quiet. So, not getting into that right now, but yeah, it can be very healing. I'm going to go ahead and cut for you, Cap. Alright, I'm going to take the bottom card to represent the underlying theme or the overarching energy of this reading, and the top 3 for clarity. And now from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck, for my lovely Capricorn friends and viewers for this February. Can you believe it's February already? I'm going to be around for the mid-month reading as well to pull some extra cards for you. And I also intend on trying to do a Lanyap video series that's going to talk about, hopefully, the eclipses and the Venus retrograde that will be occurring in the spring. It'll probably be like a spring series video or something. But I hope to be able to do that as well. Like I said, I've just recently started back classes, so time is not an infinite resource, so I've got to be very well managed in my time, but I'm going to try to do that for y'all. And finally, from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, the artwork, once again, by Autumn Sky Morrison. Alright, Capricorn, now what I'm going to do is hit the pause button really quickly, and I am going to turn these cards over, do the tarot math, and I'll be right back with your story. Hang tight, y'all. Hey Capricorn, I'm back with your reading, so let's get started. The underlying theme or overarching energy for this spread is the Six of Swords. The Six represents the Virgo-ruled house of your work and health, or the competencies and skills that you bring to the services that you provide. It also deals with your daily agenda, the daily to-do list, and what you do on a regular basis to get things done to make your day-to-day life work more efficiently and smoothly. The Swords represents air sign energy, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Now we have Jupiter is in your, well, Jupiter's in Libra, and that's your 10th house as well. And that's dealing with your career, your status, your reputation, and dealing with authorities and your destiny. So it could be that you are moving away from a situation that may have been very difficult in dealing with your work or career, your status, your reputation, or dealing with your health in some way as well. This could be a situation of health of the mind. Would definitely qualify for this as well, because Jupiter being in Libra, Libra rules counseling. So it could be that you're moving through or moving past something. This card in itself does indicate moving away from troubled waters. You can see these more rough waters here and more calm waters here. The underlying feeling I get from this is one of moving past difficult times. But it's been difficult. You can't see anybody's face. It would be exhausting to have to fight these kind of waters in this kind of boat. This isn't the kind of boat that's made for dealing with turbulent waters. So it's been a struggle. You don't have any necessary 6th house energy playing out for you, but I did associate, like I said, that work and health of the 6th house to Jupiter being in Libra, which is the 10th house, and that's career and status as well. But your back is towards that bad situation, and it seems as though you're moving forward. The first card in the top 3 for clarity is a character card. This is the King of Cups. The King of Cups represents a water sign male. It doesn't, well, it's masculine water sign energy. It doesn't have to be a male. The king shows up as a male. But this is someone who is very emotionally intelligent and is able to understand the deeper inner cycles of things and sees things on a deeper level. It's very much still waters run deep for this individual. Also, whenever I see the King of Cups, I think of somebody who likes to have a little bit of a drink or two, because he's double fisting the cups right here. I always think about somebody who likes to imbibe a lot or be escapist or have a predisposition to possibly doing drugs as well. And there's no judgment here, Capricorn, but that is something that is known and associated with your sign as well. I mean, when we're getting right down to it, in the tarot, the card that represents Capricorn is the Devil, and that's dealing with addiction and limitation. It may be that you are dealing with someone who is a water sign, that is Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. They could be dealing with addiction issues, or they could just be really dealing with their feelings or in their feels. If that's the case, and they're not somebody who's operating from that higher level of vibratory scale, if you will, if if they're on the lower scale of the vibrational end of things. They're probably moody. They're probably very sarcastic, and they can be very cutting. They can cut to the bone with their words. But it's because they know exactly where you're emotionally weakest. But on the good side, this is the individual that you go talk to about the stuff that you need help figuring out, because this person is going to do their best to give you a balanced emotional perspective if they're coming from the higher end, like I said. Now, you've also got the King of Swords in here. The King of Swords is masculine air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So you could be dealing with somebody who has like a sun sign that is an air sign and a rising sign that is a water sign, or a moon sign that is a water sign, or dealing with a water sun sign and an air, the interchangeable of the modalities of these cards. But it could be that you're dealing with somebody who has both of these energies, or you could be dealing with two different individuals or two different situations, just depending. But I really see these as either an individual together or two individuals. And I see them as both of those because of how it laid out in the spread. If it was two individual people, then there would have been a card in between. So it can be two individual people, but it could also be one person that has both of these energies very strongly predominant in them. And like I said earlier, you've got 12 signs represented in your astrological chart. They're all there. You've got a piece of that in you. Some are more pronounced than others. This King of Swords, like I said, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This is the individual who knows their facts, who knows the reality of the situation, and isn't afraid to debate you or take you to task. And this is the person on Facebook and different social media platforms. They've got different memes, and I've seen one, I've actually shared it before, that says, if I say, first of all, understand, I'm going to wreck you with some knowledge and facts and charts, and it's already researched. And that's this person. I also see this person as like a doctor or a lawyer. A doctor because like a surgeon or something to that effect. Lawyer as well because of like using the words. This is an advocate. This is someone who is intelligent and cerebral. They're a little bit emotionally cool. They're not as in their emotions as this King of Cups. This guy's going to go, if it's a debate, this guy's going more for the emotional appeal, and this guy's going more for the rational or logical appeal. But there's that. That's how that can play out. And the final card that you have in this top three for clarity is a nice card to have. It is the Nine of Cups. The 9 represents that Sagittarius ruled house of higher education, long-distance trips, adventures and questing. It is truly your worldview expanded through study or travel. It's the house of foreign people, foreign places, foreign things, the study of foreign languages, religion, philosophy, astrology, legal system matters, political matters. And what's interesting, and I didn't do this, but I'll do it now. I don't know. I've done so many of these videos, it's hard to remember if I mentioned the Saturn square Neptune thing associated with the Sabian symbols or not, but I saw there being synchronicity in the Sabian symbols between that Saturn square Neptune, Saturn being in Sagittarius and Neptune being in Pisces. I feel like what we're going to learn is going to come from those lessons, because life is a cycle and we keep learning different lessons. It keeps coming back around, different faces, different places, different names, but it feels a little deja vu-ish. This Nine of Cups is known as the wish fulfillment card. And this, I like to think of this guy right here as fat and sassy, having everything that he wants and needs and even extra. But, he looks like he's got everything he needs and more. but the highest number of cups you can get in this suit is 10. So I would see this guy as, going around from flea market to flea market or tearing eBay apart trying to get that last cup just to make the collection complete. Because all he needs is that one last one. But he's fat, sassy, and happy about it. He's got, this is, like I said, very much a wish fulfillment card. And it could be coming in the guise of Venus moving into that 4th house. There may be some of you that are wanting to move, and a situation arises to where that happens. There may be some of you that there's a situation that arises where you have been wanting to get pregnant again, and that comes up. It could be that you are dealing with wishes being fulfilled through inheritance, or that avenue of other people's money as well. Now, not having any 9th house energy playing out astrologically for you. But once again, I feel like that's just highlighting that Saturn square Neptune again. Saturn being in Sagittarius since 2014, and Neptune being in Pisces since, goodness gracious, I can't remember when. But it's been there for quite some time, and will be there for a little bit longer. A little bit more of an extended stay, but it's just dissolving those things that need to be dissolved so we can rebuild them stronger, better, more powerful, bionic man, $100,000 man thing or whatever. I wasn't around in the 70s. Sorry. Let me go ahead and, well, you really only had 2 cards that came out that had any numerology associated with them. You had the 9 of Cups and you had the 6 of Swords. 9 plus 6 is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. And that speaks to that 6th house. I really feel like you are overcoming a lot of the struggles that you have been dealing with. It's been difficult. You've got Pluto in the 1st house. You've got Saturn in the 12th house. Neptune in the 3rd house. Uranus in the 4th house. There's been a lot of interesting lessons that have come to a lot of different Capricorns that I know personally. And I feel like you're moving through those troubled waters and trying to find the more calm waters. For the majority of you Capricorns. Some of you that haven't learned your lessons yet, it's going to be a repeat of the same cycle until you do learn those lessons. That's just the way this sort of stuff goes. The Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle card that I pulled for you is the Shungite card. This is dealing with cleansing, purification, and transformation. This can help heal and amplify the vibrations of the root chakra. Shungite is a grounding stone. It's known as the Great Purifier. It removes unwanted energies and impurities from people, places, and spaces while healing the lower chakras. You've pulled this card because you need to release any negativity residing within your auric body. Meditate with Shungite to free yourself from harmful emotions, filter energies around you, and to feel deeper alignment. Shungite. And from the Sacred Rebels Oracle card deck that I pulled for you, it is the number 16 card that reads, What you want wants you. What you want wants you. 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. And that is the Libra-ruled house of partnerships and relationships and how you identify who you are through those interactions with those people in your world. It also speaks to counseling and open enemies. You aren't having any direct 7th house energy, but Libra rules the 7th house. And Jupiter is in Libra in your 10th house, the house of career, status, reputation. That's the house that you rule, Capricorn. The house that you're most concerned about with your destiny. Dealing with people who are important in your world, or people who are important in the world. Dealing with your reputation, your status. You care about what people think about you, and you care about your status. You care about your career. This card brings forth, first, I want to indicate, I see the spiral of manifestation up here, meaning that You're bringing things that you want closer to you, which is what this card indicates. But it's a healing message that comes with it that asks you to first trust in what you want. And if you're uncertain of what you truly want, then you need to ask yourself, what is it that truly moves you? And I would suggest that you ask yourself this once a month and journal your answer. And then pay attention to the answers that you give to this question, because each month you may be able to articulate better what it is that you are wanting with each month that goes by. But give yourself an opportunity to answer this question several times. I say up to 6 months. And then go back and reflect on those journal entries to give you a better idea of what it is that you truly want, because you're going to be journaling about what truly moves you. And those things that move you are those things that make you feel alive and give you that inner spark, that make you feel like you are driven by almost demons to see this project, see this whatever through. And I don't mean demons literally, but driven by just unseen forces. It just, you don't have the words to describe it, but I know each of you know what I'm talking about. As a Capricorn, you have that fire in the belly when it comes to seeing about making sure that your resources are seen about, to make sure that you're able to produce so you can get those resources. There's also a message tied to this oracle card that deals with the spiral of manifestation, and it indicates that whether or not you see it coming, what you are desiring deeply is already on its way to you, meaning you're drawing it more and more to yourself, be it consciously through these journal entries that I've suggested, or subconsciously. You really do and really can manifest many things around you that you may not realize. And if you're manifesting unconsciously, that's when some really crazy stuff can kind of find its way to you. Manifesting consciously is a much easier way to deal with the energy than just having as opposed to feeling like, why me all the time. I would rather be able to participate in the process if at any point necessary, or at any point that's available. And I feel like you Capricorns would definitely be in the boat with me on that. This manifestation, whatever it is that's making and finding its way to you, be willing, open, and capable of receiving it. And that's what I got for you, Capricorn. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you already have, I thank you from the bottom of my very grateful heart. Like I said earlier, I'll be around for the mid-month reading to pull some cards for you. And hopefully I'll have that extra video series done up as well. Fingers crossed. I hope you're well, Capricorn. Please take care of yourself, and please be kind to yourself. Save some of that kindness for others, because we're all going through private battles some of us may never speak about to another living soul. I hope you're well. And until next time, namaste, and bye, Capricorn.